Hey there, it's Jules here. I've come in from the studio because today is a really miserable, rainy, drizzly, damp day and I fancied being all cosy in the kitchen. So we're in the kitchen today and in timely fashion we are going to be making some festive crafts. Not only to brighten up your home but also to save you from having to buy loads of plasticky stuff from the stores that you can't recycle. There are two sorts of decorations we're looking at and one truly revolutionary way to wrap your Christmas presents. Honestly, once you know this trick, you will never go back to buying boring old wrapping paper again. And you'll be able to recycle most of this if you don't want to keep it, but I think you'll want to keep it forever. Enough waffle, let's get on with it. So, first things first, I have got I guess it's probably almost a quarter of a circle. So if you want to draw a big circle, maybe a plate size, and then split it into four, then you can have four of these. And this is just a piece of fleece that I've got here. So I'm going to turn it, that's the right side, that's the wrong side because it's a little bit fainter. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach some wool to the back of this, and I've made it quite long because then I can trim it off. I think we'll probably need it maybe about that length. So I will trim some off. I'm going to trim it off to about there. And using some PVA glue. So this, you might wonder what the heckity heck it is. It's just a piece of fake fur, but it's got quite a long hair on it. And what I did when I cut it out, I cut a sort of a half an oval shape. But what you want to do when you're cutting fake fur is you cut through the backing and not the fur itself. Otherwise you end up with a really weird looking beard. So that's just going to stick straight onto there. And then I'm going to close this, making sure that the top, because this is a hat, needs to be really quite tight at the top. So that's the back. You can do this with a hot glue gun if you've got a hot glue gun, which I have got a hot glue gun, but I thought I'd give this a go with PVA. And turn him over. Next job is some bits of moustache. So I made sure, so when the fur was lining up and down, like this, I turned it sideways and I cut a little sort of wedge shape, but making sure you've left loads of hair that come out the sides. And that's going to be part of his moustache. And I've got two of those, one for each side. Before I do that, I'm just going to stick his eyes on. So right again with some PVA glue, just a tiny bit, tiny little blob, two tiny little blobs like that, and then pop some googly eyes on. Googly eyes are really inexpensive. They'll probably cost you £1 for 50 or 100. You can get them in the works, you can get them in Tesco's. I have to excuse Wally, he's having a funny 5 minutes today. I think I got these ones in Poundland. So it's really, if you're doing lots of crafty stuff like that, it's definitely worth buying some googly eyes, because who doesn't love a googly eye? There's his moustache. Last thing is his nose. So this is just, you could make this out of cotton wool actually, but these I bought, I think I got these in the pound shop as well. And they're just little balls made of some sort of polystyrene, I think, or something. So these things you probably couldn't, you can't really recycle those, but you know, you're going to want to keep this little guy. He's like one of the trolls off of Frozen. And there he is, finished. So you can hang him up. Once he's dried, that will go on the tree. And he is rocking. You can also, if you want to, if you've got some ribbon or something, you can put some ribbon on his hat, or a little bit of fur, leaf, or anything that you find that you think is kind of groovy. Next I've got a small bowl, which I'm just going to draw around. Then you need to find the middle of the circle by folding it in half and half again. And cut along one of those folds right to the middle. So you have the shiny side of the brown paper and you have the matte side. I'm going to use the matte side to make a cone-shaped body. So you wrap over around quite tightly, because then you get half of that circle is double strength, so it's nice and strong. And we are going to put a bit of tape inside there so that it keeps it shut. Next, I'm going to make Ruldolph's face. So I'm just turning him up that way. This is just a piece of scrap paper. It doesn't, brown paper. It doesn't have to be that shape. I'm going to draw an oval and two little ears, and then his antlers with 3 antler prongs. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just cut round it as best you can, because it is a little bit fiddly and I don't want you to be put off by the cutting. Who in their right minds would want to be put off making such a joyous thing by a pair of scissors? So, I knew one of these days this pen was going to come in useful. I bought it from Paper Chase about 2 or 3 months ago. It's Giotto Turbo Glitter. Oh yeah, and it is glittery. So his nose is glitter-tastic. A word of warning though, if you're planning on using these in a sketchbook or in your bullet journal, they are a little bit splattery. So it might be better to do it on a separate piece of paper and then stick it in. But for these purposes, or these porpoises, that's perfect. Next up, let's just put him to the side for a moment. Another bit of brown paper. I've done 2 stripes, as you can see. So these are going to be the front hooves, or the arm hooves, and these are going to be the feet hooves. And I'm just going to cut out some rectangles. Like so. Those are the hands. Just chopping off the edges here. And them's be the feet. I've got a black pen here. These, I love these Papermate Flare medium-sized pens. Just going to do a little coloured in V that shows that that's the cleft of the hoof. And the same with the hand ones. I don't know if they're really hand ones, that's what I'm calling them. Okay, so now we have some pieces of wool. I've got a long one and a slightly shorter one. So I'm going to attach the shorter one first. And I think actually I'm going to do it with sellotape because you're not going to see this around the back. I've just got a little bit of sticky tape there. Whack it in the middle. And then where you've got your seam on the back, put it over that seam. Like that. And then that's not going anywhere. And onto that you can attach your little hooves. So I think probably the best way to do this is to put it on facing up. So the sticky side is this side, facing me. Put it on the wool. And then, just so that you know that it's going to be the right way round and that you're not going to see the back of the hoof, I'm just going to lay the hoof over it. And once it's all stuck down, I'm going to cut round the sellotape so you don't see the tape and you don't see that bottom bit of wool. So talk among yourselves for a minute. Then I'm going to do the same sort of thing with the legs. So this is the longer bit, but actually I'm going to cut it in half. And before we stick it in, we'll do it the other way around this time. It's a little bit fiddly. And then actually fold over the sellotape so that you've got tape on both sides then. Trim off the edges. So this is one issue for coming up into the house, is that I have my little Chihuahua Wally, who is incredibly anxious about life in general, bless him. Okay, tape. So I've made a longish bit of tape. I'm going to stick the legs at either end, making sure that the hooves are pointing upwards, and then that is going to go inside at the front like that. We're nearly there. Just want to, with my brown Crayola pen, I'm just going to colour in his antlers. Thus, and a little line across his ears. I'm going to give him a little smile too. Then, with a bit of PVA glue. Oh, pardon you, glue. There we go. You see what I mean about the Giotto pens? They bleed quite a lot, and they're quite splattery. So there we go. Just make sure that you are going to let that dry in the right place So you don't get to see any of this behind the scenes gubbins, because what you'll do is you're going to put him on a shelf somewhere. If you want, what you could do, if you want his arms to stay around here a bit better, you might just want to put a tiny little bit of glue on his hooves, just a little bit, just to make sure that they stay in place around there. And that's quite cute actually, because it makes it look like he's got his hands on his hips. Maybe he's been waiting for Father Christmas for ages. Father Christmas! I've just been waiting for ages. I make videos on drawing, planning and publishing every Friday. Drawing because I've been an illustrator, well, since forever. Planning because I love bullet journaling and making the most of my time. And publishing because I'm a successful indie author of children's books, and that really isn't an easy market to crack. So if any of these subjects that I normally cover, drawing, planning and publishing, are your thing, then poke the subscribe button and ding the bell next to it for notifications. You can also share the love by telling your friends about my channel. I don't often do crafty videos, but when I do, I find it very therapeutic. If you're interested in learning how to make your own children's books, then I'll leave the link in the description box, which will take you to the information on the programme that I've put together this year. It's a comprehensive step-by-step course on how to go from words on a page to published book in your hands. And if you're watching this around Black Friday 2019, check it out now, because I've got a mega special deal on at the moment. And I mean crazy special. I don't know what's got into me. Go on then, give it a go. I know it's a busy time of year, but if you're anything like me, then you are going to need a little bit of downtime. And I find doing like half an hour of doing some drawing or making something makes me feel a whole lot better about the whole Christmas situation and knowing the things that I have yet to get done. If you've got any groovy ideas for the festive season, then I'd love to hear about it, especially if you've got a channel like mine. I'm off to meet Ruldolph. He's taking my letter to the big man himself. So I'll see you next time. No.